the next speaker is going to be myself. My name is Imma, and I'm currently at the University of Oxford at the Environmental Change Institute. And I'm going to do a little bit of a self-critique exercise. Let me time myself. And talk about some of the knowledge shortfalls I think we have in the fire ecology world. And I'm going to be focusing this talk mostly with examples from the tropics. We haven't talked about the tropics at all here today. But I think that most of them are applicable here, not only in Catalonia, but also in Europe. So first, as a fire ecologist, I look at, and I think in fires, and I think about fire, climate, and vegetation feedbacks. And when you look in the literature, you see this kind of graphs. This is a science paper from 4 years ago, in which they represent the climate as a moisture. It doesn't point as a moisture availability and temperature, and then you have some quantification of soil fertility, fire as a disturbance in terms of fire frequency only, and vegetation represented in woody biomass. I think that all this audience will agree with me that this is a far too simplistic approach, and we need at least fire severity. And when I mean fire severity is fire behavior, and many fire metrics on a smaller scale, and also the ecologists will agree with me that we need many other much more information about grass cover and biomass and vegetation resistance and resilience, as they have been talking about it before. So the way I see today research and in the fire ecology is with both a top-down and a bottom-up approach, and this is the way we usually work, and each researcher works as one or more scales, but usually you can work with one or two, but shifting between scales is really, really difficult. One of the things I've been focusing on the last years is trying to bridge those scales. So can we look at the global or at a very large regional scale, and then from here predict what's going to happen in the ecosystem level and at the tree level, at the local scale level? And can we work from the very small scale and upscale to the regional and global level? So one of the things that we cannot, first we need to improve is our representation of models. And we've been talking about models here. I'm going to be talking a little bit more, so I'm going to be start talking from the big scale, the regional pantropical scales. And we did an exercise. So I'm going to be talking about dynamic vegetation models. And we did an exercise in which we tried to reproduce, considering that remote sensing products, the burnt area product was getting the savannas, the tropical savannas, burnt area dynamics right. We tried to reproduce it with one of the most widely used dynamic vegetation models, which that is coupled to Earth system models, and from here you can do predictions on net primary productivity, on emissions, and so forth. And the model either underestimated or overestimated the predictions, but it didn't get it right anywhere in the tropical savannas, which is supposed to be also a fire-prone ecosystem and relatively flat, so it could. We expected, so we were very surprised for that. But then, when you go to our baseline data from the previous slide, and you go and take remote sensing, and we've been talking about remote sensing, we find that remote sensing many times that doesn't get it right either. And here I'm showing an example in the Andes, so this is not the Pyrenees, this is the Andes, the tropical Andes, where we did an exercise and we took different data sources from different remote sensing products. One would be the hotspots, so the one in the top, I would like to move now. So the one on the top here would be the remote sensing, the hotspots, so count. This is burnt area from MODIS, this table here, and this is landslide. And I don't want you to pay attention in the numbers. but basically, if you look at this area, this is the area burned predicted from each one of the different products. And as you can see, there is a huge difference between the area that you look at the last number there, you're going to see a 98,000 from the modest burnt area product, and over 300,000 from Lancet. So there is a really, really huge mismatch in remote sensing products. And not many people talks about it. But from remote sensing products, we upscale and we calculate biomass burning emissions. And see, if we scale that, and this is also an exercise we did in the Andes, and considering just taking the Andes, everything that was above 2,000 meters in altitude, and spanning from Venezuela to Bolivia, you can see here, you have it for vegetation types. What we found in these areas that only 8% of the area burned occurred in the forest. Most of the area occurred in the grasslands. However, the biomass emissions that happen in the grasslands, it differed very much. So in the MCW45 that you can see on the top, that's the modest burnt area predictions. The other is the Lancet predictions. If you see at the Lancet predictions, it's over 5 million tons of CO2 emitted, which is actually more than 4 times that, the number that you can see from modest burnt areas. And modest burnt areas, what actually it's today used in our models to predict biomass burning emissions. So that is hinting us that we are largely underestimating biomass, fire-associated biomass burning emissions. This is another example of, and now I'm going to get more into land use and fire. So this is the Amazon, not the Amazon, the Cerrado, the Brazilian savanna, which is the largest tropical savanna in the world. And it is also a very threatened savanna. It has gone under land conversion, massive land conversion, a lot of fire suppression. It is a fire-adapted ecosystem. And we have found in your figure on the left, you can see we have done an analysis with a vegetation index, and all the green is indication of biomass accumulation, of greening up. And in the different colors, you can see in blue, in red, is the places where there has been substantial fire suppression in the last 40 years. The yellow, which is also fire relevant, is places that were converted to land, to pasture or croplands, and they have been abandoned. And as you can see, it is also an increasing biomass and fuel loads in the area. And actually, they have a real fire problem there because it is a very important management problem they have. I wanted to also call your attention, because we are going to be talking here about potentials of collaboration. No one has talked, everyone has talked about the big wildfires in the world. No one has talked about Brazil and the Amazon. What is happening in the Amazon? In this graph, you can see, I mean, per year, the red bars indicate the number of fires in the Amazon. So in 2015, there were more than 100,000 fire ignitions in the Amazon. In 2017, which is not here, the number was more than 300,000. We are trying to study also the effects of that. Those fires are surface fires, just a few centimeters old, and mortality is about 96%. So this is a flora. This other graph is a flora. It's a protected area, the Flora Nacional do Tapajós. It burned more than 1 million hectares of undisturbed forest in 2016. So this is another self-critique. One thing that we really need to improve is a way that fire ecologists view the fire. So this is how a fire ecologist explains a fire behavior. And this is a picture taken from one of my papers. Oh, fire behavior is that, and I measured char height. We know this is not right because fire affects stems in different things. And we all know here that fire is very heterogeneous. So to predict how it recovers, we need better representations of fire behavior. So the challenges, and I'm running out of time, is how would we translate fire behavior to effects of vegetation? How we account for biodiversity, especially in very diverse systems, but also here, the Mediterranean is a biodiversity hotspot. And how will we improve our observations, both in remote sensing or in our system models? How do we secure funding and long-term funding and human resources? And as opportunities is, well, the tropics need you, but I don't only work in the tropics. Multidisciplinary and collaboration. Also, access to equipment and new technologies. In research, it's very difficult to have access to certain equipment. So we are data sharing and also improving all the types of collaboration. So this is it. Thank you very much, and sorry for running out of time.